Today, we're kicking off a series on confidence in the audition room. And in this first episode, we're tackling one of the biggest challenges every actor faces: nerves. We're going to turn all of that into tools for your best performance. Welcome to all my new listeners, and a warm welcome to all of those of you who have been tuning in. This is the Purpose Performer podcast, where faith, theater, and culture come together to help you grow as both an artist and a person. I'm Cynthia Garcia, an award-winning actress, a playwright, a producer, and a former founder of a nonprofit theater company. For over 25 years, I've lived in rehearsal rooms, on stage, and behind the table. And here's what I've learned. Performance isn't just about talent. It's about purpose. My mission with this podcast is to empower you to elevate your craft, embrace your authenticity, and step into roles that align with your divine calling. So if you haven't already, go ahead and like this episode, drop a comment, and share it with a fellow performer who needs encouragement. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you'll never miss an episode of the Purpose Performer podcast. Audition nerves are something many actors struggle with, but for me, they were rarely overwhelming. And that wasn't by accident. My training taught me how to prepare not just my lines and choices, but my body and mind for the room. I developed a simple yet powerful ritual that helped me step into auditions calmly and centered and fully present. Before every audition, I'd take a few minutes to stretch, rolling my shoulders, loosening my jaw, reaching my arms, and then taking a few deep, grounding breaths. That combination of movement and breath became my signal. My body understood, we're ready, we're steady. Because of this practice, even high-pressured auditions didn't feel paralyzing. I didn't eliminate nerves because they're natural, but I had tools to keep them from controlling me. And that's the difference between showing up with fear and showing up with confidence. I want to talk now about rehearsing versus preparing. When I talk about preparation, I'm talking about knowing your beats, knowing the choices that you want to make, knowing the story, knowing about the character's motivation, and things of that sort. I'm going to give you a personal example because that preparation is going to help you and has helped me when a director has asked me to adjust my performance in the middle of the audition. And what the director is testing is seeing if I can pivot, can I take direction? And because I have prepared adequately, then I am able to take and receive the direction to give it a new twist, to do something different, to make a different choice that the director would like to see. And that lets the director know what type of actor, what type of performer, what type of artist he or she may be working with. That is the preparation part. Now, rehearsing is different. Rehearsing is doing things by rote, meaning you're just doing it as a routine. When I get to this line, I'm going to walk here. When I get to this line, I'm going to look there. That's a rehearsal. I want you to think about your last audition. Were you simply rehearsed, or were you truly prepared? Would you have been thrown off if the director asked you to go in a different direction on something that you had spent a lot of time on? And if it would have thrown you off, what adjustments do you need to make going forward when you are working on a character's scene, working on that dialogue? What adjustments would you need to make? Today, I'm going to give you 5 tips that you can use to work through those audition nerves. And the tip that is at the top of my list is prepare with precision. That's tip number 1, prepare with precision. There is a difference between rehearsing and preparing. When you're rehearsing, you're doing things by rote. You're just doing it over and over and over again. But when you are preparing, you are deeply doing the work. You know the character, you know the beats, you know the choices that you would like to make, you know the reason for those choices, you know the story, you know the backstory, you know the subtext. I mean, you are fully prepared. So if a director were to ask you to make an adjustment in the middle of the audition, you could actually pivot because you've done the work. However, I have a question for you. Think back about your last audition. Were you simply rehearsed or were you truly prepared? If you had been asked to go in a different direction, knowing the material you had already studied, would you have been able to do it? That's just a question for you. And if you hadn't been able to do it, what do you need to do moving forward when you are rehearsing / preparing for an audition? What can you do differently so you're not thrown off guard if a director asks you to go into a different direction? The tip number 2, I want you to reframe the nerves. Your body doesn't know the difference between nervousness or excitement. Your body doesn't know that. It just feels nerves. So what I want you to do is to make a mental shift in your mind and tell yourself, hey, this is exciting. This is a great opportunity. I have an opportunity to go and shine before these people who are trying to cast this play. The tips I'm giving here, yes, they're used for theater. I love the theater and that's my background, but they are applicable to television. They are applicable to film because it's still the same work that needs to be done. The difference is the medium, the way you have to play to the medium, and that is another video and another podcast in its own right. But the tools and techniques that I'm providing today are all useful if you put them into practice. So if you tell yourself that this is exciting, then you are shifting your mental outlook about what it is that you are doing. And I think that's a great way to reframe what you're doing. So if you're going to use it in a real audition, you can say out loud, you can say it with me now. This is excitement. This is thrilling. And when you hear that, when you hear yourself saying things like that out of your own mouth and you're listening to it to yourself, then you will start to believe it. You'll take it in. Oh, this is exciting. This is really great. And then those nerves have been redirected to be something very useful for you. Let's move into my third tip, which is physically anchoring yourself. Physically anchoring yourself. A strong body has a strong spine. We sit up straight, we stand up straight, our shoulders are down, our head is up, our feet are planted. We can take a deep breath, we lift our chin. These are the things that give us strength. We get into those hero sort of poses so we can begin our monologues or our auditions with a level of strength, with a level of confidence and conviction, and it can be read and felt through our body language. Our bodies will signal to our brain that we are steady, that we are safe, that we are good to go. So I want to walk you through this exercise, and we're going to do it very slowly. We're going to, I'm not going to stand up, but what you should do is you should stand up, and your feet are going to be hip width apart, and you're going to stand. Make sure that your tailbone is tucked under, your spine is straight, your hands are to your side, your chin is level, and you're just going to breathe. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. That's going to get you into a posture of strength, a posture of signaling to your brain that you're ready to work, okay? And you just go through that process where you are feeling really steady in your body. You are aware of your body, what your body is doing in the space that you're taking up. that's a way that you can sort of ground yourself, anchor yourself, and it will help send a signal to your brain that let's do this. Let's go. It's time. Tip number 4 is I want you to focus on the story, not yourself. This is a powerful shift because when you're taking the focus from yourself and thinking, do they like me? Are they going to cast me? And just focusing on the work, then that helps you to serve the story. That helps you to do what you are actually in the room to do, is to tell the story. Make sure, of course, yes, you're hitting your beats, you're hitting your marks, but you're not in your head because you're focused on the work. I want to encourage you, you will find yourself booked on occasions when you are not in your head and you just focused on the work. And even if you are not cast in the whatever production it is that you're auditioning for at the time, it leaves such a memorable impression, the work that you did, that you would possibly be considered for a future opportunity. So just let go of what you think about yourself, what you're wearing, and how you're looking, and focus on the work. Focus on the work. How would your audition feel different if your focus was 100% on telling the story? How would your audition feel different if your focus was 100% on just telling the story? Think about it and share it below in the comments. Tip number 5, I want you to align with your purpose. So, bigger than booking, you're stepping into a calling. Now, you don't have to be a Christian to apply these techniques, but I am a Christian and I do talk about these things because this platform is actually God-given and God-breathed. I am inspired and I'm created to serve God. And so there's a service mindset that comes into this platform. I want to serve you. I want you to have a service mindset to be able to serve others by being true to the script. And if you have a service mindset, you're going to overcome that judgment mindset, that judgment of yourself, that judgment of your work, that judgment of the people in the room. You're just going to be very focused on helping them to feel the role. They have a role that they need to cast, and you are a part of the process of that role being cast. And if you think of the opportunity as a way to serve the process, then your intentions and the transformation in your mind will be very different. And that is how you will work within the scope of your divine calling. And I have a question for you. What deeper purpose can you bring into your next audition? What deeper purpose can you bring into your next audition? So let's recap today's 5 keys to transforming nerves into confidence. 1, prepare with precision. Number 2, you're going to reframe those nerves as excitement. 3, you're going to anchor yourself physically. 4, you're going to focus on the story, not yourself. And 5, align with your purpose. Remember, nerves aren't there to sabotage you. They're there to let you know you're alive and this is great. They're there to remind you that you care and that what you're doing matters. So redirect that energy and you won't just audition, you will inspire. If today's episode encouraged you, be sure to like it, leave a comment, and share it with another performer who needs these reminders. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you won't miss the next episode. We're just getting started in this series on audition confidence, and I can't wait to walk this journey with you. So thanks again for listening to the Purpose Performer podcast. Keep showing up, keep shining with conviction, and always, always perform with purpose.